Good day, my name is Fatima Jakut and I'm the founder of Sakhikamva Foundation.
Hi, Fatima. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing great. And yourself?
I'm well, thank you. I'm glad we're finally having this conversation. I know we've had some issues prior, but yeah, we're here today. So I have a few questions pertaining to your foundation, Sakhikamva. I do know that you are exposing the youth to aviation and space industries to increase transformation, which is incredibly exciting. Can you tell us more about that?
Yes, so Sakhikamva was founded about 12 years ago, and we officially only registered about in 2015.
Okay.
So the organization was, because of my background in the aviation industry, I'm a pilot, and I realized that there's so little exposure for our kids, in the industry. Yeah. And then it started with a tour of the airports and then into aircrafts. And then I saw that the need is actually not just the exposure, because that's addressing one of the barriers, but also the development of those skills. So we actually transformed into an organization where we started creating awareness into developing these 21st century skills and developing the talent pipeline. These 21st century skills include, coding, robotics, engineering, all the STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics subjects and exposure to projects as such.
This is pretty incredible. Like, it's really exciting that you actually are a woman and you are in this industry and you're empowering more women. Actually, the youth, to be specific, because looking at the high unemployment rate and the lack of opportunities, I would say lack of opportunities in inverted commas, this is, it's brilliant, actually. And I want to ask about the impact that you've seen in the community. I know you've produced about 150,000 graduates, if I'm correct.
So we've exposed about 150 learners to coding, robotics, aviation, 3D printing, space science, and so forth. The development in terms of skills development has been specifically, in robotics and obviously aviation as we saw. That is one of our key driving factors. So we've got pilots that engineers, aircraft engineers or aircraft mechanics that have air traffic controllers. We have students that or have completed engineering background, qualification. Sorry, we have students who have qualified as engineers, and just to be able to develop the pipeline, and also from a younger, downstream perspective of the pipeline, we're looking at addressing that lack of exposure. Our kids don't know what they don't know, so they never think of the fact that they can become an aerospace engineer, or they can join a group of astronauts, and they can do some research, or even thinking beyond their boundaries. So what the foundation does is it addresses that barrier that there is a lack of exposure, a lack of resources. So we go into the schools and we come in with our resources, whether it's laptops, whether it's kits, whether it's even a simple thing like Wi-Fi or data. We provide those resources to the kids, so in order to enable them and enable their development.
And what is the selection criteria?
So we don't have a selection criteria unless it is obviously going to study at university, or having a sponsored program, such as doing your private pilot license or doing a drone license. So then there would be a specific criteria for that. But for the school going learners, they just have to be in school, and we try to motivate them and complement or enrich the current school curriculum with 21st century skills. And these skills range from artificial intelligence to 3D printing, robotics, coding, space science. We've got we've also got research projects with NASA, with international scientists as well.
Yeah. And what feedback have you received from the students that have benefited from being in the institution?
So the feedback is it's always great, with the kids when we meet them the first time. And then once we start working with them, like within their robotics teams or in their research teams, or a challenge where they develop apps, then we get that deeper impact. And they say I mean, we do an assessment. What would you like to become before, when at the start of the workshops and the start of the courses?
Yeah.
And then at the end, it's amazing to see that shift, that mind shift, that they think, I couldn't build an app, and I don't know anything about computer science, and I don't ever think I am bright enough, or, those things that go through their mind. But at the end of that, just that shift in confidence and that shift in mindset is so valuable to us. And that's the kind of impact that we want to have.
Mm. And where is the school situated? For anyone who's watching our interview and is interested, how do they get involved?
So we go to schools. If we get invited, we go to the schools. We actually want to engage with the kids.
Okay.
I mean, the word is going around that Sakhikamva is doing these amazing things, and they come in with this robotic equipment. But we've got 8 STREAM laboratories, which is science, technology, robotics, engineering, aerospace, and mathematics. And we've got 8 of them around the country. 7 of them are based at schools, and 1 is an independent laboratory. So in these schools, these laboratories are equipped with 21st century these laboratories are equipped with 21st century equipment, such as a special equipment. They are equipped with, let me quickly just start that sentence again. These laboratories are, for instance, the one laboratory has got a life-size Boeing 737 that's been converted into a classroom, which is amazing. The kids can then engage. Those that have never flown before but have been to the airport, they can sit in an airplane and experience what it is like, go into the flight deck and see what it is like to be able to sit in an airplane and just imagine things. There's also flight simulators that we have. One laboratory's got another airplane that is converted into a flight simulator. It's got an air traffic control tower, a space laboratory, a 3D printing station, and a 3D printing lab, and a robotics lab, and basically a classroom as well. So each laboratory is different, and these are actually at school. So it creates a stimulating environment for our children to learn in. The children think differently now, whether they are in the rural area or where they are in the city. They think differently, and they want to be stimulated more. They don't want to be they want to see things, they want to tinker, and that is what the STREAM Laboratories environment encourages.
I wish I was in school, actually, when you talk about this. I mean, Fatima, with great results comes challenges. What are some of the challenges that you have encountered as a foundation?
Yes, I mean, the challenges, I mean, COVID has taught us so many lessons and has highlighted so many things for us. For instance, our children, when we wanted to do things online, the majority of our community, our kids don't have the resources. They don't have a computer, the luxury of a computer or a smartphone. And if there is a device in the house, there's limited time to that device. And even if they have that device, they don't have the necessary privilege or the privacy. The privilege of the privacy where they can sit in a corner quietly or in a room. And those things are just highlights to us that we need to approach the challenges differently. Those are the challenges that we see that the children are, and how can we meet those challenges so that we give the best impact to our children and give them the best opportunities. So we've got laptops that we now take to school. We take our tablets and we take the equipment. Schools that cannot afford equipment or we can't find sponsorship for, we now have a series of kits that we can now take to schools, and each each facilitator they are able to be to use the equipment. So it's not limited to just one area. We can take our equipment and go there. And especially with load shedding, we don't have a problem because we now have the data, the mobile Wi-Fi, and we also have we have the laptops that we don't need to charge. We can charge it beforehand. Other, and I think any organization struggles with how do we sustain ourselves? And the way our partnership with Michelin Tire Companies South Africa has enabled us to sustain the organization, not only financially, but it now holds us accountable to the standard of impact that we have, the standard of work that we have to do within our communities, because we are now truly saying we are building a pipeline. And if we look at what sort of skills requirement Michelin has, we now build our children, or we build our program and develop our program so that we develop that talent pipeline for them.
And Fatima, on the consistency and longevity note, what can we look forward to from Sakhikamva Foundation from here, and how can people contact you?
Yes, so we are looking at obviously doing with the robotics, coding and robotics curriculum being implemented. That's a key driver for us to do more, to implement more STEAM laboratories at schools. Looking at teachers training, very important. We have to ensure that our teachers are skilled with the technology, understanding things like coding, and the new teaching pedagogy that there is. So that is what we're currently doing, is ensuring that our teachers are comfortable and confident in with technology and the equipment that we have. So that is definitely, in terms of longevity. Without our teachers, we won't be able to do what we currently doing, and we won't be able to make the impact that we are currently doing. So that is what, and looking at more STEAM laboratories, finding sponsorship for more STEAM laboratories, and our schools that are marginalized, being able for them to get the right resources, the right training, and the right space for the children to be able to participate actively in the coding and robotics curriculum, and so that there's no excuse, that they flourish, and that we build a future with the next generation.
Amazing. And lastly, how can people contact Sakhikamva Foundation if they have?
We can be contacted via email on info@sakhikamva, that is SAKHIKAMVA.org. So Sakhikamva, we can email, or you can follow us on social media and see what we're doing. We've got exciting competitions that our children or our beneficiaries also participate in, and that is not just local competitions, it's international competitions that they participate in. So join our family, and you'll see that it is an amazing experience for every single child.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Fatima, for your time. We appreciate it. And as you heard, do get involved. Sakhikamva has a lot for you. Thank you, Fatima.